What is the difference between being yourself and being cringe? Seriously though, like where is the line? Because I don't think anybody actually knows anymore. And if there is a line, it's genuinely smaller than the chances I make it through this entire Kingdom Hearts 2 run without raging at one of the boss battles. So everybody encourages each other to just be yourself, but the second somebody actually is, we laugh at them. Why do we call somebody cringe just because they care deeply about something? Why is going to the gym respected, but being bad at the gym embarrassing? Why is telling your friends you like someone easy, but telling that person feels impossible? Why is asking someone out considered confident, but getting rejected is considered embarrassing? Why do so many people encourage us to have dreams and passions until we actually chase them? Trying is really only celebrated often after it works. Now listen, I don't want you guys to get the idea that I'm some kind of perfect angel. I cringe at people too, all the time. I can be scrolling Reels or TikTok and experience something that is so unfathomably cringe that I have to turn off the phone and sit back and I try to never think about what I saw again. I can cringe at myself too. For example, I'm literally recording this in the early hours of the morning in my apartment study room. I tend to get quiet when people walk by because I find it a bit cringy to have a whole mic set up in a study room recording a YouTube video every morning from 3 to 5 a.m. Either that or they think I'm like some homeless dude that they see all the time just squatting in the apartment, which I don't think is much better at all. My point being, I am making an entire video about being afraid of being cringe while actively feeling cringe recording it. When we feel cringe, clearly something is happening and it almost feels like just a natural reaction to things. So why do we cringe at some things but admire other things that are almost exactly the same? Let me give you an example to help you better understand this. Let's just say there's a guy that talks to a camera in public with 12 subscribers. Cringe. A guy talks to a camera in public with 12 million subscribers. Successful. Different reaction, same person. Someone wears something different. Weird. A celebrity wears something different. Fashion icon. Different reaction, same exact clothes. So what's actually changing here? Because it can't be the action. They're both doing the same thing. I think it's safe to say that our first instinct is to immediately blame it on society. People are just judgmental, right? And while that may be part of it, I think there's something deeper behind that. Because if society is the only reason, then why can I cringe at myself sitting alone in my room? There's nobody there judging me, so what gives? Humans are social creatures. We naturally have very strong feelings towards what other people think. I mean, our entire lives are pretty much just shaped around copying each other. We try to fit in. So maybe that has influence on cringe, because if everybody is constantly looking around trying to figure out what's acceptable, eventually pretty much nobody is actually deciding for themselves anymore. So are we just learning from each other? We simply take in other people's opinions of that's cringe because everyone else says it is. And I think I've been in situations where I've laughed at or even pointed fingers when if I really stopped to think about it in the moment, I couldn't even explain why it's coming off as cringe in the first place. If we're just doing it because other people are, then I bring up the point again of how can I be alone in my room and still be cringing at things when nobody is around or watching to influence me? I think we can all say over time we've lumped a lot of different feelings into that one word. Oh my gosh. Bro, stop snapping me. I'm trying to record. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I think it's safe to say that over time we've lumped a lot of different feelings into that one word. I don't think all cringe comes from the same place. I think we might have grouped a million different emotions into one feeling. I think this is a most common feeling of cringe. Let's say somebody tells a joke, it does not quite land, you cringe. This kind of cringe almost certainly comes from a feeling of empathy. You almost feel embarrassed for them. Scientists would call this phenomenon vicarious embarrassment, the idea of secondhand embarrassment. When you see something embarrassing happen to someone else, for a split second, your brain briefly simulates what it would feel like if you were the one in the exact situation. It imagines what if that was me and how would I feel. So this can actually help explain one kind of cringe, which is not because the person is directly embarrassing, but because your brain is imagining you being embarrassed in that situation. Another kind of cringe being the fear of judgment. The difference in this one is that nothing embarrassing has even happened yet, but you are already imagining what people are going to think of you. You haven't asked that person out yet, but you think the way you do it might end up being cringe. You haven't released that video. You feel it might end up being cringe. You're just afraid of what might happen. And this kind of cringe is what I think really stops people from living the life they actually want. This is the final form of cringe I want to talk about before moving on, and I think it's a good one because it's something we've definitely all experienced or felt. I think the best example of this could be looking back at old photos or maybe the way you used to text people. I know a good example is that everyone has that one embarrassing YouTube video that they released as a kid when they wanted to be like a Minecraft YouTuber and live in a YouTube mansion with all their friends. Trust me, I had mine, and we do not talk about it. Honestly, I don't even think this kind of cringe is really bad in any way. If you think about it, it's just you realizing that you've grown as a person. And do you seriously think I've given up on my dream to become a Minecraft YouTuber and live in a YouTube mansion with all my friends?
I will have my YouTube mansion. I will have it, and nobody is gonna tell me I.
This brings me to the main point of the entire video, which is, if cringe is such a normal human emotion, then why are we so afraid of being cringe? Because I know there have been times where all of us have probably stopped ourselves from doing something, maybe something we love, because we thought someone else might think it was cringe. I think when we are viewed as cringe, it really does take a big hit to our confidence. So I think we're actually more afraid of that. We're afraid of not just being cringe, but getting hurt because people view us as cringe. Nobody likes being rejected and putting something that they have a genuine care for out there only to have someone tear it down. And this is why I think there's a huge normalization right now of all these guys going around trying to act or be nonchalant about everything. Caring about something is now viewed as risky because the more you care, the more there is to lose. So if you don't care, you can't really get hurt. Or at least that's what we want to tell ourselves. See, the problem is that if you never really care, it's true that you may never be heartbroken, but then you may also never fall in love. You'll never be embarrassed of that very first YouTube video you made as a kid, but you'll also never upload that really good one day. You'll never be rejected, but you'll also never know what could have happened if they said yes. And I think the real message I'm trying to get across here is not don't be cringe, but rather the opposite of getting hurt isn't happiness, it's safety. There's a quote that says, "The reward for conformity is that everyone likes you except yourself." And I think that is one of the saddest trades we can make in life. Because one day, somebody is going to upload that horribly made first YouTube video. And somebody is going to release their first song. Somebody is going to ask someone they really like out. Somebody is going to wear something different. And yes, maybe they'll look a little cringe doing it, but maybe that's exactly what the beginning is supposed to look like. So instead of asking yourself, what if people think I'm cringe? Start asking, what kind of life am I missing because I'm so afraid that they will? Just want to let you guys know that I created an anonymous question box, and I've linked that in both the description of this video and in my bio on my channel page. If there's a question that you've been struggling with, or something you are curious about and want another perspective on, or literally just a topic you'd like me to talk about in the future, I would genuinely love to hear it. I can't promise I'll always have the answers, but I can promise that I can try and help out and give each question I answer some real thought. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.